No, yeah, you guys were there.
You still got the new.
That was that
Huh?
tank,
Still have the new
wasn't
picture.
it?
tank.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Yeah,
yeah.
but I didn't bring it, so, yeah. There's a lot of things, it's just too much to,
I missed the wedding because
because,
Kate
you know,
was a
can't
baby.
cover everything, right?
she was fussing, so I had to take her out
Yeah,
and walk
high
her
school
around.
friends.
And you missed the reception too?
No,
Ah, okay.
just the wedding.
Well, the wedding was boring.
Just a wedding.
Weddings are a good thing to miss.
Just the
All right,
wedding.
So we're gonna tell that while we still have Tom and Rick here, because they were very important in this aspect of what happened.
Critical.
Critical, yes. So, best man, right? We had Bob Haberly as our best man, and you were there as the best.
Best man.
As
Well,
one of
as-
the
as
groomsmen.
groomsman, yeah.
Yeah. Now, Tom wasn't a groomsman, right? No, but he wore a suit though.
Yeah, I thought you were wearing the fancy suit and all that stuff.
I don't remember what I was wearing.
Yeah.
I do
Well,
remember that.
Look at the pictures.
yeah, we look at all those pictures.
Part of the story as I tell it, so.
Yeah, 'cause I can't remember what I was wearing, but whatever it was during the wedding rehearsal the night before, when the photographer was there, he thought I was part of the wedding party.
Yeah.
So maybe it was, I really don't remember.
I think you were.
Yeah,
not sure.
I think we were part of the
So
wedding
it's
party,
the-
yeah, 'cause I think there's three of you. Well, two of them. Anyway, Paul, why don't you start it out? What happened that day? Because how did we end up with a helicopter?
It starts months before that because we would go to Perkins once a month. I lived in Fargo and she was in Duluth, and once a month, pretty much during the full moon, we would all meet in Brainerd. And they were going to school in various places, and they would start to talking about all the evil things they were going to do to our car at the wedding. You know, like tying tin cans on it times 1,000. they had more and more evil plans every time we talked, and they had the technology to pull it off. But I was starting to get a little worried about that, and so I told them, well, they won't even know what car we're going to drive away with. I was not sure what I was going to do about it. And on the way home, we were driving past the Paul Bunyan Center, where they had helicopters, and I thought, So I stopped and asked the helicopter guy, "Can you land almost any place?" And sure, if there's room for it. There's no law against it. So I asked him if he could fly us away after a wedding, and he said no problem, and we made the deal. I was kind of smug after that.
Now, you gotta know one aspect that we don't have covered here, is Bob Haberly, one of the good friends, he was working, like we've told you before, in the taxi company. So he was in charge of the taxis,
as a dispatcher.
yeah. So he had extra eyes on the street. Okay, back.
So anyway, they kept on making all their evil plans, and I wasn't too worried about it anymore because I knew we were going to fly away. And on the night before the wedding, I went out and parked our van at the airport because I figured, you know, it's a nice hop over there, and that's on the opposite side of town, so we would actually make a clean getaway. And then that night, Bob started to drop hints that he knew something about a helicopter. I'm going, I have no idea what you're talking about. But it had me worried. The first thing in the morning on the day of the wedding, I hitchhike over to the airport, and I get the van and just start to drive, and I would take the most unlikely turns. If I'd never been down that road before, that's the road I took until I ended up at a resort. and it looked like it had a nice open field, so I stopped and asked them if it would be okay if I parked there and later on fly in there with a helicopter and pick it up. And they thought that story was so cool, they gave me a ride home. And I was almost late for the wedding.
Did you know he was doing that?
No. I'm getting ready for the wedding. I'm all, with mom and the girls and stuff and getting all dressed, and of course your mom and the girls, the little girls for the bridesmaids, the little girls were the flower girls, and so I'm all busy with those, and I'm going, where's Paul? Paul's not here yet. Where's Paul? Paul's not here yet.
Paul's not showing up.
Oh, he's gotta be. I know he's coming. Anyway.
So anyway, the wedding pulls off just great, and later on that evening we're doing a reception at Tank's Club, and that was all going great. And about 8 o'clock at night.
Don't forget, you gotta go back a night though.
Oh, we're gonna let you.
Yeah, that comes in later. We at about 8 o'clock at night, I'm going, okay, there's nothing anybody can do about it now, so I'm safe. And we tell everybody at the party about our plans that we're going to fly off in the sunset in a helicopter, and everybody thought that was real cool. And at 9 o'clock, everybody goes outside, and the copter comes down, and Ross throws a whole pack of firecrackers out underneath the helicopter, and we pile in the helicopter, still in the wedding gown, tuxedo, and all that stuff, and we fly off right in to the sunset, actually. And that was just, that's cool. It all worked.
Yeah.
We were so careful we didn't tell the pilot where we were going until we got up in the air. So once we told him, he had to turn around and fly the other direction. And as he turned around, Len said, "Oh, there's another helicopter." And we looked at each other and said, "They wouldn't." And we looked at the pilot and said, "Would they?" And he just grinned.
Now, the
Did you
other
say
half of
something
the
about
story.
him, the other pilot following him back to the airport or something?
Well, we're gonna.
Yeah, well,
No, go ahead.
I might as well tell the story as we knew it, and then they can fill in all the interesting parts.
Okay, fine.
So at the point that we saw that other helicopter, all of a sudden you could just hear the chase music start,
Mission Improbable all over again.
and now we're 10 times as excited, of course. And we zoom over to the resort with the other copter behind us, and it turned out you couldn't land in the field that I had chosen. There was a power line in the way, so we had to land on the shoreline, which was at an angle like this. And this was an old NOM pilot, so he had lots of skills. And he had the skis just barely touching the hill, and he's balancing the copter with both hands and both feet. And we stuck a $20 bill in his teeth, and we go tumbling out of the copter on this hill. And as soon as we do, the copter takes off, and the other one comes down, and we're running up the hill with our, the wedding gown and tuxedo, and there's a whole crowd there watching us, going, "What's going on here?"
They even took pictures and gave them to us later.
Yeah. And we're running up the hill towards our van, and meanwhile, their copter comes down and lands, and they come piling out,
Now, you were in
and
the
they're in
copter.
suits.
Who else was in there with you? Okay, so those two were both in the copter at that point,
Yeah.
chasing us.
And they chase us up the hill, and we get in the van. We take off just in time to get past them, and we get halfway down the dirt driveway, and there's a car coming in. They had coordination with cars on the ground, and they caught us.
Yes.
Now the backside, how you found out.
This is fun. I love it. Go ahead.
Well, the whole thing was, we bid him a bottle of champagne that we could stop him from going on his honeymoon. That was the whole thing. We were gonna
At
do
least
something
catch
to the
us.
car, you know, we're just gonna stop it. All right, so the night before the wedding, we're at the rehearsal. Again, I can't remember how I was dressed, but the photographer, I mean, I'm a photographer, amateur photographer, I love taking pictures. So as I'm sitting there in the church, you know, watching the photographer go around and, you know, take practice pictures or sit here, you know, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. I got kind of interested in what he was doing, and I started talking to him, and he thought that I was part of the wedding party. So as basically things are wrapping up, he's starting to walk back down the aisle, head out the door to go do whatever he's gonna do, and he said, okay, so we're all set tomorrow, right, with the helicopter, everything's fine, good.
So was the photographer the pilot?
He was a photographer.
Ah, I
The
didn't.
photographer spilled the beans.
Oh, I love
And then he was sworn to secrecy, but he spilled the beans, and he said, because you're part of the wedding party, right? And I said, no. Don't tell him. I said, give me the details, and I won't say a word. So he gave me the details, and being the enterprising young fellows that we are, we went out and rented the other helicopter.
Now, the story we heard was that you were in Perkins, of course, that evening, and you heard about the helicopter from people across the seat behind you. That's what we heard.
Photographer.
That was to protect the photographer.
The names were changed.
All these years, I thought it was that.
How did the photographer know?
Photographer, because he had to be there at tanks to take pictures of the helicopter. So he knew what was happening. He said,
Okay.
yeah, you could be, you know, such and such a time. No, thank you much.
You're making crap.
So yeah, so we went out and rented the other helicopter, and of course, you know,
Well, tell that story too, because when you get out to the helicopter pilot,
so we get out there and we talk to the pilot, and he just gets a big grin on, this is, you know, his buddy now, the other, because there's two helicopters, two pilots, so he gets a big grin on his face. We rented that one, and after the wedding, we had to do a couple things, and then quickly get out there, get in the helicopter, and get up and be hovering, waiting for this all to happen. So we're up there, you know, and we're looking down.
I didn't know all this.
We see the helicopter, you know, ahead of us come in and it lands, and a couple of minutes later, the doors open up and all these people come running out. The photographer's there. We see flash, 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 and the chase is on. So I'm in the helicopter. And this is, you know, like this is a Bell, you know, helicopter. So it's a Bell 203, I think it was. Got the bubble front with no door. So I'm with a 8mm movie camera, leaning out the door, trying to take pictures. You know, movies, it's getting pretty dark though, and they didn't come out, but I tried. And that's when these two are looking back, oh no. So,
Meanwhile, the two pilots I know were in communication.
Well,
naturally,
it had to have been
Yeah.
to protect each
So-
other,
we
safety.
get there, and these two jump out and went running for the van. First guy takes off, and we're spiraling down to get there, and the air density has changed so much that he couldn't land. He couldn't even put a ski on down. So I got out of the helicopter with the bottle of champagne in the air, actually jumped down. And ran over to the van, and here's your bottle, we got you, pal. And went back to the helicopters, because by then he had to come back down to get me, and again, I had to crawl up into the thing, because he couldn't land. It was about this far off the ground. Crawling
fun.
into it. Yeah, it was fun. And off we went.
What about later that night?
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Being the kind, caring, loving friends we are,
Oh, yes.
we found out where they were going to be spending the night. In a hotel in Grand Rapids. Hey, it's only an hour plus away, so got up there, went to the hotel motel they were staying at, found the room, and we showed up the room, started banging on the door, yelling, "Vice Squad!" Lynn starts giggling away.
I thought we knew you were coming now. Because I'd asked my mom to send my holy jeans. She wanted to throw them away, I didn't want them. Yeah, so I thought we knew you might be coming, I don't know.
So after 50 years, the stories didn't diverge anywhere near as much as I thought they might have.
No, we got good memories.
Every story diverges.
Cool.
Yep.
remember you had that picture out of the newspaper.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
Yes,
was
for
the picture.
years.
yeah, yep, I've got it at home, I just didn't think about bringing it here.
On that note,
Things?
Anything I need to?
I'm
Yes.
sure glad you guys could come and share
Oh,
your
enjoy,
stories.
this is great.
He's reminding me, because it's a summer, he wants to party.
I turned 70 in August, so